States are warned that SNAP benefits will run out November 1st. Local food pantries prepare for an increase in residents in need.
Plus, giving former inmates a second chance, the new re-entry house for women now open in Rockford.
And introducing Rockford students to a genre of music they may not be familiar with, the live opera performance at Johnson Elementary.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Upwards. We thank you for being here.
Tonight at 5, concern about food pantries and SNAP benefits. If the federal government shutdown continues, SNAP could be cut as early as next month.
And now some local food pantries fear they could be overrun. Eyewitness News reporter Stephen Lewandowski joins us now in the studio. Stephen, what did you find out today?
Well, Wendell, local food pantries are stocking up in anticipation for the potential increase in demand. If SNAP is withheld, they may be stretched thin come November. I spoke with Rock River Valley Pantry's board president, Reggie Tillman. He says they've already been seeing an increase of clients over the past couple of months. He believes that number will continue to grow if SNAP is withheld, and if the demand continues to increase, Tillman says he'll need all the help he can get.
A lot of the clients that we serve do get those SNAP benefits. So going forward, if those go away as it looks like November 1st, we should see those numbers continue to increase. They're already increasing. The need is already increasing. That's just going to make it increase that much faster. But that's going to be even more difficult too, the more that we have to spend for an increased number of clients. So the donations are extremely important.
And coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you what local food pantries really need right now. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Stephen. We're learning more about a serious crash on Interstate 88 earlier this week. Officials now say a Rochelle woman was killed. The accident happened Monday morning southwest of Rochelle. Investigators say a westbound driver hit another car, lost control, went off the road, and crashed into a line of trees. Araceli Zepeda was a passenger. The 27-year-old was taken by helicopter to the hospital where she later died. No word on the condition of the other victims. 2 people are rushed to the hospital with serious injuries following a crash in Boone County this morning. Authorities responded to Caledonia Road and Route 173 just before 10:30. Investigators say the driver of a car failed to yield to a semi, causing the two to collide. Both people in the car were injured. The driver of the truck was not hurt. The crash is under investigation.
Tonight, police in Freeport arrest a couple as part of a drug trafficking investigation. 21-year-old Avinan Curry and 39-year-old Heather Curry face a long list of charges. Around noon yesterday, officers searched a home on Northwest Avenue. Inside, police say they found 4 semi-automatic handguns and an AK-47 pistol, as well as more than 100 grams of cocaine and nearly 250 grams of cannabis. Both are in the Stevenson County Jail tonight. Also tonight, details emerging in the first day of testimony in the trial of former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson. In opening statements, the prosecution telling the jury Grayson did not have justification to use deadly force against Sonia Massey. On the stand, Grayson's partner inside the home at the time of the shooting seemingly agreed with that statement. The defense, though, arguing Grayson fired the fatal shots in self-defense. It also says 3 gunshots can be heard on body cam video, but only 2 casings were ever recovered. Questioning now what happened to the 3rd. More testimony for the prosecution resumes tomorrow.
Rockford leaders gathered to celebrate the opening of the Sisters by Love House, a new re-entry home for formerly incarcerated women. It's a project that's been in the works for over 5 years. That's when the housing director was released from prison herself and experienced the barriers to re-enter society firsthand. 3 women will live at the home on the city's southeast side. The home doesn't just provide a place to stay. Those living at the safe house have access to resources like job search assistance.
When someone is just given the opportunity, it creates a safe place for everybody, for our neighbors, for our families, for the community in whole.
The home is one of 2 new additions in Illinois to the National Safe Housing Network. Another home is opening in Carbondale Friday.
The city of Rockford is collaborating with local organizations to help prevent violence in the community. The Violence Prevention Coordinating Council, aptly named, provided a community training session at the Black Hawk Court Center today. It was held in partnership with Rockford Promise and Prairie Street Legal. Those there learned a variety of strategies on how to exercise their legal rights on topics. The goal is to help the community successfully tackle problems with nonviolent solutions.
It's more than just a job. I want to empower people, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide them with the knowledge to empower them to be able to rise in an effective way in their community.
On October 29th, another community training session will be held at Northwest Community Center.
Rockford City officials are looking for feedback from the community on how to spend federal money. The city's putting together its action plan for the next 5 years. This plan is what designates how much money will go towards individual projects. The city's also altering previous plans to reflect changes in how money is being spent. Before the city can submit the plans to the Department of Housing and Urban Development for approval, it must first allow for public comment.
We need to have input from the community to direct us on where we're going to go with our funding. There's federal dollars, so it's important for everyone to have a voice.
Public comment runs through November 13th. You can find the Community Action Plan on the city's website.
A live performance at a Rockford school introduces students to the world of opera. Oh, how fun. Members of the Opera for the Young were at Johnson Elementary this morning. 16 students joined the cast of The Elixir of Love on stage. The humorous show is set in the Old West and serves to introduce opera to this generation. Opera for the Young performs more than 180 shows at Midwest schools every year.
A federal judge issues a ruling on the deployment of National Guard troops.
When we come back, what this means for the future of federal troops in the state.
We did not see much movement in our temperatures here throughout the day, from where we started off at 45 this morning to where we ended up here this afternoon, 49, all thanks to that cloud cover. But those clouds clear just in time to allow some freezing conditions tonight for some. A look at where that coldest air settles in coming up in the forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
A temporary restraining order preventing the deployment of National Guard troops in Illinois has been extended.
A federal judge in Chicago extending that order less than a day before the deadline was set to expire. The order is now indefinitely in place. The previous order, granted by a judge 2 weeks ago, was set to expire tomorrow. A federal appeals court rejected the Trump administration's, request to lift that order, but the Trump administration reached out to the U.S. Supreme Court and is now weighing the case. The judge's decision could be moot if Supreme Court justices issue a ruling in the meantime.
We have no idea when the Supreme Court's going to come down. It could be weeks, it could be months. You don't want to be in that limbo situation where you're waiting, and then there's a gap and all of a sudden something happens and you have no legal recourse in order to prevent that if you're the state or the city. It could be a month from now. My guess is that it's going to be sooner rather than later. This is obviously a very important topic and an important issue for the administration and for the state of Illinois and all of its residents.
Lawyers representing Chicago and the state of Illinois have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to continue to block the deployment to the Chicago area, calling it a dramatic step.
Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius issued a warning to ICE agents in Illinois after a video on social media went viral.
You may have seen this video recently on social media. It shows an ICE agent confronting someone filming a vehicle and saying,
"You can record all you want. Change plates out every day."
Well, I have a big problem with that. You see, swapping out Illinois license plates on Illinois registered vehicles is illegal. And as Secretary of State, I have zero tolerance for this type of illegal activity.
Janulius says flipping license plates or altering them in any way to avoid detection is illegal. He says no one is above the law, including federal agents. His office launched a plate watch hotline and website to report suspected license plate swapping.
Frost advisories are in effect in multiple state line counties for later tonight.
When we come back, Candace lets us know just how cold it's going to get. That's coming up in our full forecast next.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, our wind's not nearly as strong as what they've been the last couple of days, which is some good news, but we've definitely had that breeze where at times the wind has been gusting close to 30 miles per hour. The good news, as we get a little further into the evening, the wind speed, or at least the strongest wind, will continue to subside here. But we've been socked in the cloud cover throughout much of this afternoon. It was hard to get up and going. It was cold this morning. It was windy, and we had the cloud cover. No rainfall for us today. A couple of sprinkles there up to the north, but we've been dealing with a sky that has looked like this, a very gray Wednesday afternoon, but there is a little light literally on the horizon. You can see the back edge of some of that cloud cover there clearing off to our west. So we will gradually see these clouds clear out as we go through the night tonight as low pressure continues to lose its grip across the Great Lakes and high pressure builds in there just off to our west. That'll provide us with a little more dry air in place. And you can see the difference in our temperatures from where we have cloud cover to where we have sunshine, where we've been stuck with the clouds and that cooler air. Temperatures in the 40s, you've got the 60s and the 70s down to the south. Now, we are not going to warm up quite that warm here in the days to come, but we are going to see more sunshine through the afternoon tomorrow. 48 our temperature in Rockford, Janesville, 48 also in Rochelle, 46 in Monroe, and 51 that number now in Sterling. So where we were able to see a little sunshine, temperatures over the last hour or two able to climb into the 50s. But notice here as we go through this evening, it'll be a steady drop in our temperatures. We'll get down into the 30s and perhaps even the low 30s heading into the overnight and early Thursday, down to 33 degrees. With that clearing taking place and our wind starting to lighten up, that could lead to the potential for some frost. So in anticipation of that, a frost advisory, that's the light blue here, for most of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, but pay attention here in Freeport, Stevenson County, Joe Davies, and Carroll County. A freeze warning goes into effect. All of this at midnight and will run through early tomorrow. So anything that may be a little sensitive or you've still got stuff out in the garden, you got to get that all kind of picked up here, because if we don't see widespread frost for tonight, we will more than likely see it for tomorrow. 54 for the afternoon. It's breezy, still cool. Notice the wind coming in at around 20 miles per hour. Temperatures here tonight down to 33, but 31 tomorrow night. So more than likely a lot of us getting in on that freeze condition as high pressure builds in there from the west and kind of settles right overhead. We can see how our skies will continue to clear out. This is about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. We've got that clearing that'll continue to take place, which will lead to more sunshine for tomorrow. Now, where the freeze warning is in effect, so our northwest counties, that holds a higher potential for temperatures getting down below 32 degrees. Everywhere else, we may stay in those low 30s. Rising into the 50s for tomorrow afternoon, but notice we drop down below freezing for most, if not even in a couple of spots. Some of those more cool, typical spots down into the upper 20s. Just depends on how much we stay clear, really how calm our winds are. And then we'll maintain some of that sunshine there as we head into Friday afternoon. It'll be chilly for those Friday night football games, so you'll want to bundle up, but a drier start to the weekend. We've got our next system we're keeping an eye on into early next week. That could give us a couple of showers right now. Best chance for that would be Tuesday into Wednesday, with those numbers dropping back into the 50s.
Thank you, Candace.
Scott's next with sports.
The Bulls are set to open their season tonight. Can their young nucleus step it up this season?
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
It's almost tip-off time for the Bulls in a new season. They will host the Pistons tonight. Will this season be the one where the Bulls make some strides? The last two seasons, they finished 4 games below 500. They were just good enough last year to earn the 9th seed in the East and make a play-in game, but then they were blown out by the Miami Heat. Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and Modest Pizzellas form the young nucleus of this team. They finished the regular season strong last season, and that's where they'd like to pick up this season.
I don't put any pressure on myself. I'm going to allow the game to come to me. If it's going to be on the defensive end, I'm going to have to impact the game. That's what it's going to be.
We're playing against a Detroit team that obviously got to the playoffs. They're an incredibly physically very good defensive and offensive team. They've got, exceptional players on both ends of the floor.
Where would the Packers be without Josh Jacobs? In big trouble on offense, probably. Jacobs has scored 2 touchdowns in each of the Packers' last 3 games. Last week, he delivered despite playing while ill and also having a calf injury. Matt LaFleur is glad Jacobs is on his team.
He's a grown man. There's no doubt about it. And what he says is always backed up by his actions. And I think that's what you need to be in order to be a great leader, is whatever you say and comes out of your mouth, you better back it up, and he certainly does that.
Don't ever doubt me, and don't ever, limit me in the sense. Just trust me and let me be who I am.
Well, the Ice Hogs are off to a great start at 4-1. That's with a lot of new young players and with first-year head coach Jared Nightingale. It's early, but I asked Nightingale what the identity of this team seems to be so far.
I think our willingness to defend and taking pride in that, whether it's tracking and getting that puck back, being very difficult to play against. We want to be a physical team, smart. I think we've been, for the most part, positionally pretty sound away from the puck. And then continue to try to build on playing fast. We want to be fast transition.
The Hogs will play 2 games in Colorado this weekend. We'll be right back.
Our first warning interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Glass and More. You get a couple of sprinkles there up to the north. Those won't last too long, but we'll hang on to some of that cloud cover here through this evening, clearing out late this evening and through the night, which will allow our temperatures to drop back into the low 30s. So because of that, a frost advisory and freeze warning are in effect. That freeze warning for Stevenson, Joe Davies and Carroll counties. 54 for tomorrow, still a little bit of a breeze, and then climbing through the lower 60s by the weekend.
Thank you, Candace.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.